After over 300 games and over 1,000 goals scored, the Gamersaloon FIFA Pro League has narrowed its field of 24 professionals down to 12. A league that, between its two divisions, saw a dozen different club players participate. We are now down to 12 players from 6 different countries, including 2 club players in PSG's Dax and West Ham United's Sean Dragon Allen. Now we're just going to go break down each matchup and give our prediction as to who will move on and even drop the prediction for who's going to win it all. So in our first matchup, we have the 8 seed Zach Moore taking on the 9 seed Dragon. So in the first matchup between these two, Dragon actually took the win 7-4 in one of the most entertaining matchups we've ever seen in the Gamersaloon FIFA Pro League. It's actually where Zach developed his nickname of the Kid. But yeah, it was a very attacking matchup between the two. You're most likely going to see a lot of goals in this one, but we do see in our prediction Sean Allen going to take it in a close one of 5-4 over 2 legs. He moves on to take on Black Mambas, the number 1 overall seed in the tournament. Moving on to the next matchup, we have our 5 seed, the Dutch professional XL Persian, taking on the 12 seed Jablet, also known as Beast Tekkas. He just barely slipped in there in that 12 seed spot, finishing the season 10-8. Earlier on in the season, XL beat Jablet 1-0 in just a matchup because that was actually in Division 2. These two players are actually 2 of the 4 that were promoted because of some Division 1 dropouts that the league had. XL's been in some very good form recently, defeating Sean Allen last week and losing in a very close match to Poacher 5-4. Jablet's also been solid though, just qualifying for the playoffs with a 4-3 win over the Greek. However, saying that, we do think that consistency will come through, and the Dutch Pro XL, going 15-5 this season, will win 5-2 over 2 legs to move on and take on the American Gastella in the quarterfinals. Now on to the 7 seed PSG Dax, who finished the season 16-6, and he's taking on the 10 seed, the American Aman Siddiqui. Definitely my highlight match of the round. You have one of the top American players in his country against the young French PSG phenom Dax. The first time they faced up, this was around week 10. Dax actually took the win pretty handily, 6-2 over the American. On good form as well, Dax has made the final of the last 3 events he's attended, winning 2 of them and only losing to Rocky recently in the French qualifier. Both players are also going to be attending their regionals in a couple weeks here in February. Although an NA versus EU connection isn't always the best indicator, I do believe that Dax will have too much and will win 4-2 over 2 legs to move on and face Poacher. And the last round of 12 matchup puts the 6 seed Jambu against the 11 seed Greek. The Greek showed some great early season form, defeating the likes of Gravison in week 1, but in week 2, these two actually did face up, and the Greek took it in a 4-3 win over Jambu. It was one of the first matches that was ever broadcast as well. I believe this will be the closest matchup of the first round matchups, but I could see this one going all the way down to the wire with Jambu either taking it in golden goal or penalties, which means Jambu would then move on to face the Spaniard, Gravison. This takes us to our first quarterfinal, which faces up the number 1 seed Black Mambas, who finished 20 wins and only 3 losses, against the 9 seed Sean Allen, who went 17-8 this season. He started up with a really bad form at the beginning of the season. The regular season matchup between these two was actually the first ever match of the FIFA Pro League where Black Mambas actually took it in a very close 3-2 win. However, I'd say since that first week, Dragon has only improved from his 1-5 start. And for our prediction, with Sean Allen playing in multiple competitive venues and tournaments recently, I believe that he's more of a big-time player and will take it in a tight victory 4-3 to move into the semifinals, upsetting our number 1 overall seed and guaranteeing himself at least a $125 share of the prize pool in the process. Moving on to our next quarterfinal, we have the 5 seed Axel Persian, the Dutch pro, taking on the number 4 seed Giuseppe Gastella. Of course, Gastella being around for so long, winning so many tournaments, and representing the United States at the highest of levels. The regular season matchup between these two ended with Axel actually taking the win 4-1 over 2 legs pretty handily, as well with some recent E-Divisie controversy in the Netherlands. Axel will be extra motivated to perform at the top level and prove his doubters wrong. I believe form will continue from their early week matchup, and the young Dutchman will book himself a spot in the semifinals as well, taking the victory 3-1. This matchup I am very excited about. It would be the 2 seed Poacher, finishing the season 17-3, taking on PSG Dax. For 2 players that are so young, a rivalry already seems to be forming between the Frenchman and the Englishman. This is actually a rematch of this most recent ESWC round of 16, where Dax was able to triumph on his way to his first world title. However, just a few weeks after that performance, Poacher came back and handily defeated Dax by a scoreline of 5-1. This could really go either way. But for our prediction, after a tough recent defeat by the hands of Rocky for Dax and big wins for Poacher recently over the likes of Gorilla and Tass, I believe just on recent form that Poacher will take this one in the most exciting quarterfinal by far, 6-5. In my opinion, it all just comes down to who can outscore the other. On to our final quarterfinal matchup, and it's going to be the 6 seed Jambu versus the 3 seed Gravison. Jambu actually took the first matchup between these two, but that was very early, back in week 3, winning that one 3-1. After solid foot champions performances over the past few weeks for both players, this should be a very close matchup, but I can see Gravison just edging this on current form 3-2, giving him a semi-final matchup against Poacher. The 5 seed taking on the 9 seed in the semi-final. Now this is a very interestingly poised semi-final, with the 2 pros playing very recently in the FPL just 2 weeks ago in week 11. It was a contentious match, as some of what we call FIFA aides seem to decide it in some's opinion, with Axel coming out the 5-4 victor. With both players seeming to have something to prove for different reasons, this could be the most hotly contested match of the entire playoff. I do see this most likely going to silver goal at least, with the veteran Sean Allen coming out victorious 4-3 for West Ham United, making it to yet another final in the pro's long and storied career. Axel, being just promoted 6 weeks prior, can only be proud of his 3rd to 4th place finish, taking home a nice $125 as well. And into our other semifinal to decide who Sean Allen would be taking on, it's the 2 seed Poacher versus the 3 seed Gravison. Poacher has only dropped 3 games this entire season, but one of them was against Gravison in week 7, 3-2. Both attacking players with solid defenses. This will be an extremely entertaining match, if not the most high scoring. However, I do believe after seeing some incredible FIFA from Poacher recently that he will be too much for Gravison in this semifinal, winning 2-1, setting up a huge final against Sean Allen. So it all comes down to this: youth or experience, discipline versus flair. This matchup will be a fantastic final, with the regular season matchup going Poacher's way 3-1 in week 9 against Sean Allen. Starting fast will be the key to this one, as if Poacher can pull into an earlier lead, coming back from a 2-goal or bigger deficit against him will not be an easy task. But for our prediction for the winner of the first season of the Gamersaloon FIFA Pro League, unfortunately for West Ham United, I see Sean Allen finishing second again, taking home the $750 prize. In a tight one, I see Poacher finishing the season on top of the table, winning 3-2 and taking home the $2,000 grand prize and showing everyone he's one to watch when it comes to regionals in a few weeks' time in Paris. just wanted to thank you guys for your support so far on Front Page FIFA. I hope you guys like the predictions that we put out. Go ahead and let me know what you guys think of the predictions. If you guys have different predictions, go ahead and put them in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe as well, and come back soon for your #1 source for FIFA esports content.